guys. Got something off of the pressing to show y'all. Second winch is coming back out. This is so sad. All right, you guys. So y'all saw what was just happening at the beginning of the video. In the last video, y'all saw we put John Deere winch number 2 into the Timberjack, and we just had to pull that winch out. So we got the winch in, got it all plumbed out, hooked up, all the hydraulics, the whole 9 yards, and it was still turning the wrong way. And this one even came off a Timberjack skidder. So we've been doing some research on it. We've been watching a lot of videos. There's a really good YouTube channel on YouTube if y'all are ever looking for some advice on people working on equipment. It's called CNC Equipment. They got some good stuff on there. And we think there's a way that we can take some gears out of this winch, flip them around, and we can make the winch spin a different direction. I know it's dark. I'm really sorry, guys. It's almost 8 o'clock. We put in a long day today working on this thing. So we might possibly be going tonight to one of my uncle's shops to try to work on this and try to get it flipped around, just because we don't really have the equipment to do so. But stick with us. We'll get into it. All right. So update. The winch is completely disassembled. Pretty much everything you can take out is almost taken out, not everything. And we figured out that we can't swap this. This is the gear that determines which way the winch spools up. And this can't be flipped around to go opposite. So either we need a new one of these or it ain't gonna work. So
go from sticking that in.
Keeps getting better.
Put that hero wire right in.
All right, everybody. The last time we left you off, things were not looking the best. Last time we seen you, we had the winch all disassembled and everything, and we ran into a few bumps in the road, but I think we've got one step closer to having this John Deere winch like we need it. And I'm gonna flip the camera around here, show you what we found right quick. We think we're making some leeway on making this thing spin the way a Timberjack's supposed to spin. So I'm gonna flip it around here, and we're gonna show you what we finally found. All right, so here's all the stuff still strode out on the bed. We broke it down last Friday night. We was out here till about 11 o'clock trying to get everything ciphered out and took apart. We thought what we could do was, you see this gear right here. This right here is the star of the show. That's the one that we have came across out here. A guy had that in his shop, sitting on his shelf. The perfect thing that we needed to make the winch spin the way that we needed it to. Dad's grabbing the old one that was making it spin the wrong direction for what a Timberjack needs.
Yeah, not all of them, but some of them.
Yeah, well, our particular 380A Timberjack.
Show them the difference. Now, what the difference is going to be is this right here was what was making it turn backwards, and it was on this side of the pinion gear. Now this new one we're making is going to be on the, as you can see, the lower side. By doing that, it's going to change the direction of the spool on the winch. Ours was backing it off. When you push your lever to roll it up, it was backing it off. In other words, it's trying to roll up underneath, and we needed it to roll over. So by changing from this right here to this right here, putting it on this side, it's going to change the direction right opposite. So when we put it on the skidder next time, if it goes backwards then, I'm quitting.
Something's wrong. Some kind of voodoo.
If it's going backwards then, I'm going back to a Gearmatic. Whatever, no matter what they say about a Gearmatic, I'm going back.
Better than this, ain't it?
But what we're having to do is, this piece ain't made, this ain't specifically for that. But what this is a, I forget what he called it, what did he call that?
I can't remember right off.
It changes directions of
makes it go either way.
Yeah, it had another, we pressed it off, it had another gear like this sitting right here.
Yeah.
And it swapped it back and forth. There was some forks set right here, and all that done was swap back and forth and make it swap the gears.
Whichever way you want it to go.
Yeah. But he said you could take this and either we can cut us a groove in them splines there and put us a snap ring to hold this down, making it all pull together, or we can weld a beater at it. So I think we're gonna go with the welding it.
He said because all it's going to hold is the pressure of just holding that on there. That's all it's going to do is keep it.
It's got to hold this right here, this thing down, and
Yeah.
that locks it all together, which will make it all work together. You can find a welder pretty easy, but it's hard to find
Or find a
a
machinist.
machinist that can get it done anytime soon. So
In our area, anyway.
yeah, I ain't saying they ain't out there, and I ain't saying they do a bad job. I'm just saying they're usually covered up.
Yeah, they're behind, which means they probably do pretty good work if you can get to them. But we wasn't convinced them things right there was real, did we? We had never seen one. Had heard a lot about them.
They're real. We didn't want to go to John Deere and buy one for that price.
Like a 4-leaf clover, ain't it?
Yeah. I'd say through John Deere, that piece, somebody just throw the estimate, might be around $2,500 to buy one that goes in a winch like this to change that direction. And that would be all right if it come down to it, but if you can save a bunch of money and fix it still and it work, why not just go the cheap
So
way?
you're going to get the same outcome either
Well,
way.
this is like a brand new gear. I don't know if it's ever been in one or not. Possibly.
And the crazy thing about it was you was just out there a couple of days ago
Yeah.
and didn't know it was sitting there.
Didn't know you could use a piece like that.
Yeah.
But it spins great. Watch there. And we put the pinion on there and it spun great. All we got to do is press our bearing back on there
Be ready.
and you start turning bolts.
The only thing that we're waiting on is the spot weld, or which we're going to go the spot weld around this to hold this down.
Yeah.
Or you could also use a snap ring, whichever one you want to do.
But if you go with the snap ring, you got to go to the machine shop and let them
Yeah.
cut that groove. And that's, like I say,
Delayed process.
it might take us a while.
But we are on the right track, finally. I mean, we've took a bunch of steps back and no steps forward, don't seem like. We're finally on the right track, it seems. And boy, just look at the inside of this thing. Whenever we showed the guy that had that piece there, we showed him that, and he said that thing looks brand new. He said that must be a good winch, and it is clean on the inside, ain't it?
Yeah, I'd say it ain't been used.
Now this winch here, it come off a grapple skidder, which makes you think they probably didn't use the winch a whole ton. I mean, they probably used it some. You can see it's got wear and tear on it, but that grapple gets it up off the ground, takes a lot of pressure off of it as far as holding.
Yeah.
See,
So we're on the right track.
clean as a whistle, buddy.
I believe we can get us I believe we can go back to work before too long. If all things go like planned. There was no shims on this, was there? So it just bolted straight up.
But guys, I just want to give you an update. Finally, a positive one.
Maybe a life flight somebody.
That's what that is, ain't it? Life light. That's what that is right there. I bet that's the ambulance right there coming to meet them.
I bet you they have to do that. They're just gonna have a landing pad out there. Yeah.
Boy. Well, something must happen that direction. All right, everybody, we got back from getting the weld tacked down and got a little bit ahead of ourselves. And I didn't get to show you what it looked like before we put it in. But right now, we've started assembling the winch back together. So that gear that we got done is on the inside of this housing right here. We just put the rod back in and got the cover back bolted down on it.
There's a piece of gasket gun. We really need some stuff.
And we just put this gear back in and then this gear right here. So everything is going back.
Put the big gear down. That boy.
So I'm going to set y'all up, probably do a time lapse maybe. And then hopefully we can show y'all the finished project maybe before it gets dark. Hopefully. we don't want to do another 11:30 hopefully. So we're going to get to work. A bunch of pretty much every screw I think that came out of this was all 5/8, so that's handy. And our extension's a little bit long, but it's the closest one we could find. So we're gonna get started putting this assembly back together, and then hopefully can give y'all a finished product once it's all been completed. All right, we got the big gear in, the main gear, right there. Looking pretty good. Is there anything, if anybody was to have to do this, any top 2 tips you'd give them if they had to do this themselves? Think you can narrow it down to 2?
I ain't got no tips. If you ain't never done it before, it's interesting to pull it apart and see about it.
Yeah.
We watched it put together on YouTube and taken apart by C&C Enterprise. That taught me a whole lot. That's the benefit of YouTube.
Yeah.
You can learn a lot about people's, and he's given some pointers to watch for that I can, like putting the spring in over there when we put that on. That might keep us from getting kicked with us. That spring and flipping up and throwing something at you.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know a whole lot of tips yet, but I'm surely have something before long, won't we?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, guys, hit the time lapse. All right, you guys, we got some good news. Let me show you. I want y'all to look. The back of the truck. Y'all see that? That is a John Deere winch that is fully assembled and, to our knowledge, works. So you guys saw last night, me and Dad stayed and worked on the winch until about 9 o'clock. There was one gear. Dad and them came back out here this morning to finish it up, and he would have to explain to you exactly what he was missing last night that we couldn't finish it. I was supposed to be going and looking at another skidder and knuckle boom potentially, but the guy didn't text back in time, so I just came on out here. But we did hit a bump in the road last night, and it wouldn't be us if we didn't, because if you guys watched the last video, you guys know we've had an awful time trying to get this thing together. But it looks like the sun has finally rose, the night has passed, and we're on the right side of this thing. Hopefully. We still have to go back to the skidder. We have to drop it back down in there, make sure everything lines back up the right way, get all the hydraulics hooked back up, the plunger put back on, hooked up. We got to put hydraulic fluid back in there, and then we should be ready to test it out, and the good Lord willing, it works. Please, Lord, let it work. You guys, if you guys have watched this series, it's been about over 2 weeks of trying to get this sorted out. We've run into bumps in the road, had a hard time finding people that knew what we needed. It's just been a big pain in the caboose. Just being honest, it's been pretty rough, but it looks like we're finally on the right side of this. So headed home. Y'all keep your fingers crossed. Find your 4-leaf clover. Get out your rabbit's foot and horseshoes. We need all the luck and all the blessings we can get. Here we go. Y'all, we saw an interesting flavor of coffee. Black Rifle coffee chainsaw flavor. You guys go comment down below if we should go try this. I'll come back and get it. This video gets 800 likes. We'll come back and try the chainsaw coffee. right, y'all, update. Maybe one of the final updates, hopefully, on the John Deere winch. What day is this?
I don't know.
You've not been making...
No Thursday. Another week
So,
bites the dust.
This has been 2 weeks and 3 days, and
yeah, it's been a journey. I made the decision to take the old Gearmatic off and go with the John Deere winch. And in life, there's a lot of hard decisions, and you think some of them will come out better than they do. And it may be a good decision in the long run. It's just been a rough one to get started. But anyway, there's so much different on these things. Nothing's just, they've got so many different versions, I guess you'd call it.
so the first thing we was having trouble with was we had to make all the fab work to make everything work. As far as drive shaft and the yoke, the hydraulics.
The part about that was we done it for a different winch than what we've got now.
I know, that's what was bad. The first winch, this is our second winch, like we've told you, I've been following along. Then all the fab work for the first winch, I'd take that one off.
If we would know, though, I would have had to get down and got us a shaft and put in it, change the direction, and we'd been ready.
Yep, but we didn't know that, did we?
No, we've learned a lot about a John Deere 4000 winch in like 2 weeks.
If anyone needs, we don't know it all, but if anyone has any questions, we might could help you out.
I know what they look like now. I don't know exactly all the, when it gets down to technical stuff, you know, pressure and all that. I know what the gears and all that looks like. That Timberjack, that John Deere winch off a Timberjack was a direct drive. It didn't have a clutch pack at the pinion gear. It was direct. And this skidder has to turn. The top drive shaft spins all the time on this skidder here. And when you put it in gear, they work together. Well, this winch here, direct drive, every time you'd lock your brake down to pull your load, to travel with your load behind you, well, that locked that drive shaft on the top of the skidder. It locked it up. Well, when you put it in gear, it wouldn't let nothing spin. It had the transmission and everything locked down. So I figured out you needed a clutch pack pinion. It's a bunch of discs in there. That pressure pushes again, it locks it together and makes it roll your rope up. Then when you let your lever off, it opens back up, and then that drive shaft can spin. We didn't know there's a difference, did we?
Nope.
We do now, don't we?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Then we got it all back together after we knowed what we needed yesterday, and it wouldn't pull a hat off your head, so to speak.
You could hold the winch while you was winching up and just hold it in place, couldn't you?
Yeah, you hold it with your hand. That wasn't gonna work.
So we had to go swap the plunger.
We thought we missed the O-ring on that pinion clutch pack, so we put a new one of them on there. Put it back together this morning. What do you think? It wouldn't pull the hat off your head.
Nope.
But Timberjack obviously has got a little different setup in this thing. Off a Timberjack skidder, the one it come off of, it had 2 lines where everything else just uses this 1 line. So I don't know what that does. But I about believe it would probably put pressure. If you had pressure to that too, it might lock that clutch pack in when you, and it might lock it in all the time. I don't know. But we put one off another winch out there off John Deere that had 1 line, and it fixed it.
We made the swap to this one, this plunger here, and that done the trick. That's all it took was just, well, not all it took, but that's the last thing that was making it have no power. That's the final challenge.
It would release the load,
and
it would release the holding brake, so it would spin, but it wouldn't make it lock in right here in the pinion gears or clutches. But as soon as Isaac hit the lever, it went to rolling, didn't it?
And it's so strong it pulled 2 pieces away with it.
I mean, it didn't even slow down with them 2, did it?
Out of the pile.
That ain't
It's
a load.
pretty heavy.
It does tell us it's gonna try to pull now, don't it?
Yeah.
It's definitely it's been a journey for sure, and
we broke a bolt or 2, but we got. That's just our fault there. We'll have to deal with that. But maybe if it'll seal off and quit leaking, we won't have to worry about it.
Just knowing we figured out how to just make it work properly is is what we've been looking for. It's not. We went and looked and looked and
I really
looked.
thought the big thing was going to be the bolt pattern to bolt it to the frame. I thought, oh, that'll be different. We'll have to cut a different pattern for the bolts. And
That's the easiest part.
yeah, that's the easiest part. They all will line up just exactly like the Gearmatic. So we've had to deal with the drive shaft twice. So we've fabricated a drive shaft to work. So that was another process.
The cab.
And eventually we may have to pull it back out and put a gasket set through everything, because where we've had stuff on and off and didn't use new gaskets, we'll use silicone. I mean, it may work fine. We don't know.
Because at the time we didn't know if it's even going to work or not. So.
Yeah. We was to the point we were just trying to get it to work, and then we go back and
Yeah.
perfect the job, so to speak.
Yeah. We cut the battery box off, so that's all gone. That looks different.
We got to clean that up, make it look a little better.
The battery is sitting right there. All right, you guys, we're going to start it up and show y'all the winch finally working the right way. We're going to fire her up, and hopefully nothing's changed since last time we did. All right, fire up. Freeze pull. Rope's a little bit bound up in there where it wasn't tight whenever we was rolling it up, so that'll have to be worked on. Ain't that pretty? It's bound up there in one spot. Probably pull it out though. Here.
Hello.
Try.
Sasquatch might pull the whole skidder, might he?
Tree pulled out or right here.
That's still working. We'll just take it, get back out. We need to get something heavy again and roll it up. Just roll it up. That's one thing we have heard about John Deere winches. You've got to really stay after the adjustment to keep them from backlashing. Somebody say in the comments, is that true or false? What do you think?
Well, that's over with.
I ain't got much hair left. Have you? Look here. Not lost all my hair. Woo! You got any?
A little bit.
Uh-oh.
You got any?
It's getting thinner on the edges, boys. You better enjoy it while you can, son.
Oh, no, he's just creeping.
That's like them creeping flops, except they're leaving instead of growing in. And one flowers you put on your bank and they take over and just keep spreading. But we got a problem. Our hair ain't spreading and growing. It's a it's a fading away. Okay, here you go.
What are we doing now? Going to drive it back in the back?
I hope we're going to work.
All right, you guys, this is probably about the 15th, 20th tree we've pulled with the John Deere Winch so far. Seems to be working fairly well. There's a couple things we're gonna have to do to it that we caused whenever we was putting it in the last time. A couple small leaks on there, but as far as the functioning goes, I think it's doing pretty well from what I've seen anyway. So yeah, it's going pretty good. I mean, we've not pulled nothing great big. We did make one pull where we pulled about 2 trees, a little bit bigger than this one. So, I mean, it's not offering to slip any or anything like that. So, I guess that's a plus. So, at the end of the day, it's about 3 o'clock right now. At the end of the day, I'll give you guys a little bit of a walk around and kind of show you what I'm talking about those couple little problems we're having. So, stay tuned. All right, you guys, so we just wrapped the day up. It's a scorcher here in Tennessee. It's very, very hot today. And plus, we've been mechanicking for the last 2 weeks in the shade. Well, not really in the shade, but it's been cooler. So we wasn't used to this, but it's wore us out today heat-wise. I'm sure it's been hot where you guys are too. We just like to complain about it, as y'all probably know. But I'm gonna show y'all kind of the couple things that we're having trouble with on the winch before we wrap today's video up. So as y'all can see right here on this front plate, we had to take this off a couple times to try to get the seal around it the right way, because whenever we took it off the last time, as you guys might see some bubbles. Yeah, right there was one. It's leaking a little bit around this seal. The seal itself, the gasket got messed up and we didn't have one on hand, and we just had to get this back going. So it wasn't like we were just trying to cobble it up, but we done what we had to do. Put some gasket material around it, just trying to seal it up good. And as y'all can see right there, as we was tightening the bolts back up, we broke one of the bolts off inside. So it's been leaking right there. So that's been an issue. And then over here at the top of this plate right here, it's been doing a little bit of leaking right in that area. So unfortunately, we had to take it apart to, you know, put that right pinion gear in there to make it turn the right way for how we wanted it to winch. And so unfortunately, we had to take it apart a few times just to try to work on it. So we're gonna order a whole new gasket and a seal set for it and do it the right way here one of these days. But as of right now, it's doing pretty good. It's leaking a little bit. Y'all can see a little bit that's built up right there. But you know, not too awful bad. We can definitely work with it, so that's good. So other than that, I mean, nothing really is going wrong with it. We pulled the last 2 days with it, so it's been doing pretty good. So I just wanted to show you all that and do an update video of us pulling some with it. I know it wasn't a full video of loading and skidding and stuff like that, but I thought you guys might like something new to see, because we do that quite often. So I thought y'all might enjoy this. We're glad it's finally over. It'll have to come back out to put those seals and gaskets in it, but it's just something you've got to do, because over time you're gonna lose a lot of hydraulic fluid and it could get worse as well. So it's better just take time to do it. But yeah, I just want to give y'all an update. Hope you guys did enjoy today's video. We're about to hit the road, get to the house. It's probably getting close to 5 o'clock. It's been hot. It's been a hot one today. Hope you guys did enjoy it, guys. We hit 9,000 subscribers from the time you guys last seen me. So yeah, I appreciate that. We're on our way to 10,000 now. So keep hitting the subscribe button. I'll keep putting the videos out. And real quick before I go, who will be at the Paul Bunyan Logging Show this year? I thought about going. Let me know if any of y'all are going to be there and would like for us to show up. Paul Bunyan Logging Show in October. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like. But yeah, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for hanging out in the Backwoods TN today. See you guys in the next one.